The Russell Wilson trade is one of the craziest trades that we have seen in the NFL in the past decade. And for the Denver Broncos fans, they are elated and joyed by bringing in a quarterback that is at the stature of Russell Wilson. And it's no secret that Russell Wilson, despite maybe not making the playoffs this past year and maybe not making the Super Bowl for the past few years, he has not slowed down personally. A lot of people are saying that the Seattle Seahawks were in a rebuild, and I just don't understand that because Russell Wilson has been to a Super Bowl twice with the Seattle Seahawks and won one of those Super Bowls. The team around him has diminished. When he first arrived there and they went to those Super Bowls, he obviously had the Legion of Boom, which was behind him on the other side of the ball, that was able to hold down opposing offenses. And the offense, when he was there, had Marshawn Lynch, who was a game changer. The Seattle Seahawks do not have the same team that they once did, and I understand maybe the direction that they want to go in. I just don't understand the idea of rebuilding your team and keeping a coach that is 70 years old. It seems a little weird to me, but that is the direction that the Seattle Seahawks have decided to go in. However, in this video, I want to discuss what Russell Wilson is going to be bringing to the Denver Broncos, and let's be real, there's not much that we don't already know. Russell Wilson has created his own term called the moon ball because of how amazing his deep ball is. It just floats in the air, allows his wide receivers a ton of time to be able to get under the ball, track it down, and beat those cornerbacks in one-on-one coverage. We saw it time and time again, whether it was Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf or even Doug Baldwin when he was with the Seattle Seahawks with Russell Wilson. Jerry Jeudy is going to grow tremendously with Russell Wilson. Jerry Jeudy coming into the league was going to be a top wide receiver prospect, and he hasn't turned out the way that maybe Broncos fans and NFL fans in general have hoped for him to be. But he is going to continue to develop when he is a quarterback like Russell Wilson, who's going to make the players around him better. They also have Tim Patrick and Courtland Sutton, who are also great wide receivers. It would really be fun for the Denver Broncos offense if they were able to keep Noah Fant. However, he was going to Seattle in the trade for Russell Wilson. So unfortunately, a great player that was on the Broncos offense is no longer going to be there for Russell Wilson to have on his side and, create a really dynamic offense. But let's be real. This Denver Broncos team is still loaded. They have a ton of weapons, a ton of talent across the board. There's the potential that they're going to bring back Von Miller. And the fact that I know they gave up a lot of picks to get Russell Wilson. They gave up a key piece in Noah Fant. They gave up a quarterback they drafted just a few years ago. But they got a first round pick when they traded Von Miller to the Los Angeles Rams. And yes, the Los Angeles Rams did get a Super Bowl out of Von Miller. So if they lose him, it isn't the worst thing in the world. However, if the Broncos, who knew that their season was over, were able to trade away Von Miller for a first-round pick and then sign him a couple months later again, while they're building a contending team, the Denver Broncos absolutely fleeced the entire NFL and made maybe potentially one of the greatest NFL trades in history. Because if Von Miller comes back, all the Denver Broncos did was basically say, hey, Von, go win a Super Bowl, come back to us in the offseason, basically, and we are going to have a contending team by the time you are back. And for Von Miller, why would you not want to go home? I'm sure he has connections and stuff in Los Angeles now, but Denver is his home. That is where he spent a ton of time. It's where he won a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP. I would not be surprised if we see him come back to the Denver Broncos, and even if he doesn't, the Denver Broncos have a ton of talent on the defensive side of the ball, and we're still one of the top defenses in the entire NFL last season. Adding a key piece like Russell Wilson is going to be massive for this Denver Broncos offense and is really going to put them at the top of the AFC. Now, the only problem with that is the AFC is absolutely loaded. The NFC, I think, is the weaker conference by far. I understand they just won the Super Bowl with the Los Angeles Rams. However, the AFC playoffs are going to be absolutely killer next year when you're going to have the Denver Broncos, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Los Angeles Chargers, and maybe even the Oakland Raiders. That's 4 teams that potentially can make the playoffs next year. Those 4 teams are all in the same conference with quarterbacks like Russell Wilson now in Denver. You got Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes. You have the young up-and-coming stud in Justin Herbert. And you have Derek Carr, who looked really good last season with the Raiders and is going to be getting a new coaching staff to help, take that next jump for the Oakland Raiders. Oh, excuse me, not the Oakland Raiders, the Vegas Raiders. A little bit of a mess up there. That's 4 teams that could potentially make the playoffs. However, let's just look at the rest of the AFC that we have. We have the Cincinnati Bengals, who took a huge step in their quarterback's second year in the NFL and are an extremely young team and will be bringing basically everyone back for round 2. after losing the Super Bowl. Then you have, you know, the Buffalo Bills, the team that everyone kind of expected to go to the Super Bowl this past year. They're basically going to have the same team next year as well. Then you got the teams like the New England Patriots. There's just so much competition in the AFC right now that despite the Denver Broncos making a massive upgrade, the AFC is going to be insane next year in the playoffs and the playoff race in general. It is going to be so fun to watch. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of the trade below, because this is absolutely game changing, one of the craziest trades we've seen in NFL history. If you guys enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel so much. And let's see what Russell Wilson does this year in Denver.